welcome to the first episode of UAE Brews and Views with Shireen. I'm your host Shireen Kapoor, and in my today's episode, we are going to discuss two such words that if as an entrepreneur you are listening to, you might want to know more about it and want to get into the insights of that. And worry not, with me I have Mr. Ankit Panjuani today. He is one of the experienced tax consultants here in the UAE who works with a lot of expats entrepreneurs, and with him you will get a lot of real insights into today's episode. By the end of it, you will want him on your speed dial number.
Thank you, Shireen, for having me and looking forward to having an interesting discussion.
Yeah. So, Ankit, let's start from how it all started. I would love to actually first know a bit about your background, just how you ended up in the UAE and how you ended up in this business stream actually.
Good question. Interesting, in fact. I've been here in Dubai, in UAE, since a very, very long time. My parents shifted here when I was very young, and my education, I've completed all of it in Dubai itself. And I joined the consultancy business about 15 years ago. And something that really interested me about this field is, meeting new clients from all over the world and trying to help them set up businesses in Dubai. And of course, every client has different requirements. So it was a nice challenge to find the best solutions to the different questions that they had or the different requirements that they had.
Okay. So usually your solutions, I would say, are tailor-made as per the client's requirement, or is it something like you give a standardized solution? Or is it based on some kind of, criteria? Like what's the criteria?
So, as I said, every client has a different requirement. The business might be different. The activity might be different. Someone might be looking at, doing local business. Someone might be looking purely international trade.
Right.
So everyone has different requirements, and therefore we always offer personalized and professional tailor-made solutions to each and every client.
So talking about UAE, let's say Dubai, for example, like I am a recent immigrant, or I would say an immigrant entrepreneur here in the UAE. But I think you have been here since 14 years already. You've been practicing and since 30 years in the city. So let's say that you are helping an expat, helping back then, 14 years back then, and helping them now. Like what is the difference? How has Dubai evolved? How has UAE evolved?
It's a very, very good question. Reason being, when I started, start working in this field, the processes were a little more simpler. Of course, there was no taxation involved, so that was big ease for most incoming clients and incoming companies into UAE. But having said that, times have changed. If you talk about today, there are very many different structures and jurisdictions that are available to clients.
Yeah.
Taxation has come into the picture, be it VAT or be it corporate tax. So, there are a lot many things that the businesses or the entrepreneurs should be thinking about before taking that first step of incorporating a company in Dubai.
Right. So yeah, as I would say that, a lot of people think that UAE is tax free. I think yes, it is personal income tax. It's free, but of course that does not mean it's stress free. There's a lot of other things that entrepreneurs need to cater to. Correct. And having said that, I also feel that there is no other city, in my opinion, as I'm not I would not say that I have experience in every major city of the world, but in whatever experience I've had in Canada, whatever experience I've gathered in from different parts of the world where I worked with the clients from all over, I feel that UAE as a mindset, as a global network mindset, has evolved over the years. So for example, if you might be sitting in a networking group or in just next group, and somebody next to you might be a millionaire or a billionaire, and the entire conversation is revolving around that. So this is the beauty of UAE. And has this always been there, or this is a recent trend or change that you have noticed?
So Dubai has been a multicultural city, I would say, since a very long time. However, over the past 2 decades, I would say, things have changed at a very, very fast pace. We have people in Dubai, I would say more than 150 nationalities are here, doing business or, whatever, they must be doing a job. But Dubai is a very, very dynamic and fast-paced city. Business-wise, I would say that it's now become a global player, in the past 10, 15 years, because it caters to a very big geographical area, if you say. Europe, Asia, and Africa. Dubai is right, or UAE, I should say, is right in the middle of all three. So it caters to, three continents, I can say. And therefore, it's become a very big global player in terms of businesses wanting to have their presence here in one way or the other.
Even young entrepreneurs, startup founders who are now moving to the UAE because of the entire UAE startup ecosystem, the way they're promoting, etc. They encounter maybe the terms of corporate tax and other business setup, taxation, whatever regulatory matters can come along. It actually, maybe they fear about it, or I say at least it leaves them with wide-eyed, right? Absolutely. So what are your thoughts and solutions to such people about corporate tax in the UAE?
So when we have entrepreneurs coming in to Dubai for, of course, the very first time, trying to set up the business as a startup, there are a lot many things that they need to take care of. First things first, I would actually say that they need to be careful about choosing the right jurisdiction. There are so many different jurisdictions available. Not having an idea about what might suit their business the best, will have a big effect on their company's work profile in the future. So choosing the correct jurisdiction. Second thing, when you talk about the laws of the land, there are several laws. If you're in the free zone, you need to follow the free zone free zone authorities regulation. If you're in the mainland, you need to follow the company law. Apart from that, taxation, like you said, so the companies need to get registered with the FTA, which is the Federal Tax Authority, for two things. One is VAT and the other is corporate tax. So all these need to be done on at specific points in time, and it's very, very important that in this country businesses follow the law diligently. Otherwise the penalties are quite huge.
They are on the higher side, and you don't want to get into that situation.
Absolutely, I agree.
So as you said about the jurisdiction of a company, now one of the most common questions, and I'm sure a lot of people might ask you in the comment section as well, that what is this about mainland and free zone? Like, what's the war, what's the difference, what is the entire jurisdictional layout, how does it work?
That's a question most of my clients or prospective clients ask, and usually anyone coming into the UAE has that confusion. Now when we talk, let's say, about mainland is a jurisdiction which is basically, of course, non-free zone. In terms of being in the city area, if you want to have a business set up there, then you need to go for a DED license or economic department license, which comes under the mainland area. When you talk about free zones, there are very many free zones in Dubai and across the UAE. More than 60 free zones, if I remember correctly. What happens in the free zones is that you can set up a company and your office space only within the boundaries of the free zone. So you cannot be located anywhere in the city or in the center of the city, if you may like. Second is, free zones would probably suit companies who want to do international trade or who have their business outside of the UAE. Whereas if you're doing local trade, mainland would probably suit you more. In terms of taxation, I mean, that's a big question, but yes, I'm just letting you know there are differences. And I can't make a generic comment about it because there are lots of ifs and but the taxation implications also will differ if you're in a free zone or designated zone or even in the mainland.
So if I say, for example, I am somebody who has a startup, a tech startup based out in India, for example, let's say India, and want to start in the UAE, want to come here in the UAE. Now, I do understand that I can have an office in one of the free zones, but I can also operate UAE wide, or am I restricted to that particular jurisdiction? So this is something I would like to know in terms of supplying, giving my services, just being out there in the rest of the UAE.
See, technically, like I said, if you're in the free zone, the main point is that your office has to be located inside that free zone itself. So you have a physical boundary where you need to have your office inside of that free zone boundary itself. However, you can definitely, let's say, trade or provide your services if you're in the services sector to other mainland companies as well across the UAE. That is not an issue.
So that's not an issue. So Ankit, I remember when we had this conversation about company setup and business setup here in UAE for entrepreneurs, You gave me a hint on the fact that the bank account is the main thing and the company setup is the second thing. So first you need to go reverse, right? You need to figure out where you'll be able to put the bank account and then the company. So what is this complexity around opening a bank account in the UAE?
Shireen, that's a really important question you asked.
Yeah.
Of late, in the last 3 or 4 years, I would say, opening a bank account for new companies or startups has become a little bit of a challenge, especially if the businessmen have made a wrong decision while incorporating their companies. Now, what can this wrong decision be? It can be probably choosing the wrong kind of jurisdiction, which might not be good for their business or good for their business activity, I should say. Second thing being probably going for the wrong kind of office space. Now, most startups or new companies, I would say, when they come into the UAE, they of course want to save on costs. The biggest way that they can save on costs is by not opting for a physical office and going for something known as a desk space office or a flexi desk office. Now, you may save enough money by downgrading the type of office that you go for, but the downside of this option is the fact that most banks are not happy to open accounts for flexi desk companies in today's times. They want a company which has a physical office space. It might be a small office space, not a problem, but they want a company which has a physical office space that their RMs can come and knock at the door and ask questions if they have to regarding the company or regarding the transactions or for KYC purposes. And they also want to make sure that the owners, the manager or the key management personnel in the companies have UAE residence visas. They want to make sure that the company is being run by the right kind of people and has adequate substance in the UAE. So yes, opening a bank account is become a little difficult, but there are right kind of solutions for it, and yes, professionals can help in the right manner if you take consultancy from the right kind of people.
So that's a very interesting piece of information that you gave us. And with that point, I like to ask that now when I see the market from a bird eye view, I see two segments to it. One is the regulated segment, professionals who are advising on business setups, and obviously they have experience on their back that they're talking with. And the other is something I would say the non-regulated or just like a sales agent kind of people who are agents in the market who are giving packages of company formation. I sometimes hear their information from different sources and I say, boss, you need to even figure out the taxation policy in your home country. You need to see that also, that angle also. Like, it's not just opening a company, it's not a straight jacket formula. There's so many other things. So what is the difference, as I may put it, what is the difference if somebody comes for a tax and company setup advisory to a professional vis-a-vis a person who's just out there in the market giving the service like an agent?
Good question for prospective people who are looking to incorporate companies in the UAE. Unfortunately, in our market, it's become such that, like you said, there are those kind of people who are giving packages or low cost options. The businessmen out there, you definitely need to understand that that may not be suitable for your business or your business activity. Like you said, there are just so many things that you need to think about before you incorporate a company, whether that jurisdiction is right for you or not. What might be the best kind of office space that you need? Like you said, if there is any taxation angle to it, not just UAE tax, but even taxation in your home country. How is that going to have an effect?
Majorly.
So you need proper guidance on several fronts, on several different topics before you can finalize what would be the best place to incorporate your business. Now, this kind of consultancy can only be given by thorough professionals, be it chartered accountants or lawyers, and therefore I always tell most of my clients or even most of the people that I meet that please take expert advice. Otherwise, in trying to save a little bit of money, you will make a wrong decision and that might affect your business in the future.
Yeah, that's what I also feel. I feel, you can be a short-sighted person if you are actually not taking proper advisory, because after all, you're entering the global market.
Correct.
And UAE is one hub where everybody wants to have a base because 200 nationalities are working here almost. In this, when you said about company formation should be in the right jurisdiction, there's something that, I have heard, but I could be wrong and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that the kind of network that you make in UAE also is directly related and proportional to where you set up your business. If I may say so, that because, for example, I have heard that people in the commodity sector would like to set up in DMC DMCC, for example, just because they want to meet the right kind of traders, supply chain is there, everything is sorted. So is that how UAE works jurisdictionally?
There are several free zones, especially in Dubai, that cater to specific segments or specific markets. Like you mentioned, commodities is being served by DMCC main. You have Dubai Internet City, or let's say software companies. You have Dubai Media Cities for media houses. So there are specific jurisdictions for certain sectors, and by being in those sectors, you get a major advantage that you can meet people from your industry very easily, and that of course helps in enhancing your business and taking it to the next level. The second part to that answer is you said about the networking between companies and like-minded people. Yes, if you're in a better jurisdiction, if you're in a jurisdiction which is well known across the globe, and of course even in the Middle East region, you're going to interact with companies that are doing very well for themselves in the market, and which will in turn help you to grow to the next level. So your networking will be with much better people if you're in the right kind of free zone and right kind of jurisdiction. Yes, you might have to pay a little extra for it, because to be in the good free zone or a premium free zone, your cost might be higher, but the benefits are also much higher.
So now let's come to the fun part of our segment, which so Ankit, I'm just gonna give you a brief about what we're gonna do. I'm gonna throw some statements here at Ankit, and you have to just select. Either it's tax or it's relax.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Tax or relax. Quite
so
nice.
My first statement would be from the perspective of an entrepreneur, and that is, I just started my business in UAE.
Tax.
I am doing business since 2 years but making no profits.
Well, technically you can relax because you don't have any taxation output, or nothing corporate tax to be paid, but in a way you need to be stressed to start earning profit as well.
I'm a digital nomad who's just moved to the UAE and working remotely.
Tax in a way, because even though you might be, let's say, a freelance professional, you may or may not be working from the UAE, but if you have a sufficient amount of income being generated from UAE, from clients within the UAE, then yes, you might be required to register for tax and pay the necessary taxes as well. Even though you may not have a company, you might need to register as a natural person.
I'm a rich Dubai housewife. I wish.
Totally relaxed, chilled out, the best thing ever.
So yeah, that was the fun part of the fun segment of our conversation today. And as a last, before closing the podcast, I'd like to ask you that what is this one tip that you would like to give all the entrepreneurs hearing out to you today, and are planning to set up their base in UAE, or planning to move to the UAE?
For all people who are probably looking at incorporating a company or having a startup in the UAE, I would like to say that first things first, please speak to thorough professionals who can guide you in the best manner after understanding your specific requirements, and who are not just giving you some package off the shelf which may not be good enough for your company or your requirement. So speaking to thorough professionals is a must. Second thing, with the help of that professional, choosing the right jurisdiction is a must, because once the company is incorporated, changing jurisdictions is very difficult, and in some cases even impossible. So you're stuck with the decision that you have made. So the jurisdiction, selecting the jurisdiction is a very important process. So you cannot go wrong with that. Thirdly, you need to make sure that you take care of all the laws in the country. We spoke about the fact that it's not the place to be on the wrong side of the law. The penalties are quite high, and be it the labor law, be it the company law, or free zone law if you're registered in a free zone, corporate tax or VAT, whatever it may be, you need to make sure that you're on the right side of the law, and you're taking care of all of this. So these are a few things that I'd like to tell people to be aware about.
Yeah, they really matter. Actually, in hindsight, they do matter. If Absolutely. I myself do business here, and I can completely relate to each and every word that you've said here on the show, and it's very interesting, all the information that you've given to us, and I'm very thankful for you and for your time actually to come here on the show and speak to us. So I hope this episode gave you a good insight about the taxation and the company setup process professional angle. And it's very important that whenever you're moving to the UAE as an entrepreneur, as a digital nomad, as a freelancer, you seek professional guidance. And this is what we are here for today. Thank you.
Thank you.